Hi, everybody, and welcome back. And a special hi to Annie. Hello, Annie. Annie is such a sweet dear. She's nearly always first, and even when she's not, she makes a point of saying hello to me. Okay, guys, for those trolls accusing me of never being able to admit when I'm wrong, which is not true, I have admitted to making mistakes before, but never mind. I went and investigated a bit more, and with the help of friends, it does appear as if the Queen's recipe for ketchup and brown sauce will only be sold at Sandringham's souvenir store, which is only open 2 months of the year, etc. Now, this is totally acceptable as the money will go to the salaries and maintenance and is something done regularly, not just at Highgrove, but at many other large estates. Only if those products were sold for profit in a retail store would we have had a problem. At some later stage, we'll talk about the difference between crown properties like Buckingham Palace and other royal homes, or then homes owned by the royals. But because it is the weekend and we're going to relax, we are not going to go into that just yet. The first thing I want to snigger about involves old Harry again. It has now become clear why Harry jumped on a Zoom call with Gareth Thomas and spoke about HIV. You see, Harry and Meghan are grifting and hinting and licking some butts for an invitation to either the Oscars or to one of the high end parties associated with the Oscars, and then preferably both. Two of the most prestigious Oscar parties are the Elton John Watch or Viewing Party and the Vanity Fair Party. The Elton John viewing party takes place during the Oscars and services those who are not attending the actual event. It is by invitation, but patrons pay for their tickets and they can then watch the Oscars on screens while being served food and drink. The proceeds are then donated to the Elton AIDS Foundation for the prevention, research, and support and treatment of HIV/AIDS sufferers. Now, ding dong, light bulb moment. Now we know why Harry suddenly took Gareth Thomas from the shelf, gave him a dusting, while reminding everybody of his mommy's work and compassion with HIV/AIDS sufferers. I can thus just see and hear Meghan telling Harry that he better do this so she can get an invite to the Oscars or then at least to Elton John's party, if not. But, my dears, dear Megsy has one problem. Most of those parties are sponsored to a large extent. Yes, have a look at photographs taken at those parties and you'll notice the goodie bags. Yes, you will have the likes of brand names like L'Oreal, Oscar de la Renta, and hundreds of others placing their goodies front and center during these events. And other than donating these goodies, they also pay for the privilege of doing so. Oh, wow, how ideal. Megan loves free goodies. But this is where Megan missed the boat, fell off the edge of the harbor or the mooring. You see, a birdie whispered in my ear that some of these sponsors have some say in who will be invited, and in accordance to the size of their donations, let's just say that. And apparently, some of these donors, or then brands, have absolutely no interest in Megan and would prefer not to waste a seat on her. Oh my word. Okay, just to name a few examples, sponsors of Elton John's viewing party include Walmart's exclusive Elton John eyewear, Equality Utah, Cadillac, Robert K. Kraft, and Vac Viva Glam, and others. All right, moving on. I saw on Instagram and certain channels that the British government is looking into the births of Archie and Lily. I looked and even asked around, but to date have been unable to verify this. So I cannot confirm or deny it for you, unfortunately. What I can tell you is that as of last week, Archie's birth and baptism records are still sealed, and Lily's are still not available on any government site in California. So nothing has changed as far as I'm concerned. And then as far as all my helpers in this regard are concerned. If anyone listening has any other information or even proof that the British government is actually looking into it, please contact me via email. Those of you who are on Instagram or following me on Instagram may have noticed that I'm involved in a few hot debates on there. Okay, now this is actually not a laughing matter. I actually lost my shit a couple of times, but let's continue. I'm not even going to go into each and every debate. I'm not going to call it arguments because people are mostly fairly decent about it. Okay. But suffice it to say, there are more than one argument going on at the moment. And the one I really want to talk to you about, the one that I'm most upset about, is the one about BetterUp, Harry, and the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. As some, maybe most of you, will know by now, the Queen's Commonwealth Trust is subscribing to BetterUp and have made the mentoring sessions available to 1,000 young people. Now, I know my subscribers are all brilliant and very clever, but unfortunately, I have to explain certain things for those lurking in the shadows. Subscribing to does not mean that they are paying for it. The current special on the subscription of $299 is negligible for the Royals and negligible as far as I'm concerned. They need not have paid the subscription fee to be subscribed. The fact is, to make the mentoring sessions available, they have to subscribe, whether they have paid for the subscription or not. So, okay, they are subscribed. No matter how much my shadow watchers argue or harass me. You don't agree? Go to the BetterUp website and find out how you can access these mentoring sessions. You cannot access it without subscribing. Okay, so are we all in agreement now? Right. Now, for the shocker. This is highly irregular, and here is why. The Queen's Commonwealth Trust is exactly what it says it is. It is the Queen's charity, just like the Prince's Trust is Charles's charity, and Archwell Foundation belongs to Harry and Meghan, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is their charity. So, for all intents and purposes, it could have been called the Elizabeth II Commonwealth Trust. Yes, she may not run the day-to-day operations. She has a CEO, Chris Kelly, doing that. However, nothing, and I mean nothing, may be put out in the Queen's name without, at the very least, the approval of one of the Queen's senior advisors. I do not care what the disclaimer on the website says. Nobody can or may attribute anything to the Queen without the knowledge or approval of the Queen or her team. Try it, and you will be shut down faster than you can blink. Thus, it is a reasonable deduction that if not the Queen herself, then one of her senior staff is aware of this endorsement of BetterUp on the Commonwealth's website. Now, it is a fact that the royal family may not promote products and services for personal gain. It actually says those very words in a manifest of rules for royalty. Now, they are doing some subliminal advertising by wearing a certain brand of clothing or driving a certain vehicle, but they are not allowed to get paid or to receive kickbacks from promoting products. As Harry is still on the royal family website and still bears all his royal titles, he still falls under the category of a royal family member who may not use his titles for personal financial gain. But Harry is now in the United States and have to, supposedly, work. And it so happens that he works for BetterUp. The endorsement of BetterUp on the Queen's Commonwealth Trust website is priceless. I cannot even begin to guess what the cost of such an advertising venture would be. But the average cost of a television ad is about $5,000 per minute. A 3-minute ad would thus be $15,000, and if it's played, say, 10 times in 1 month, it would come to approximately $150,000. Now imagine an endorsement on the Queen's Commonwealth Trust website, which is there for anyone around the world to see every minute of every day for months on end. Now, I'm told that BetterUp had to date gained at least $400,000 worth of subscriptions as direct result of the mention or endorsement on the Queen's Commonwealth Trust website. Now, I'm relatively sure Harry got some commission or remuneration from it, and thus he, a royal, had directly and personally gained financially from it. And even if he didn't, the company he works for and gets his salary from did. The bare fact that the company Harry, a Prince of Great Britain, works for was endorsed in the name of the Queen constitutes nepotism and favoritism, and the CEO of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust should be trained and advised of the do's and don'ts of royalty. Thus, if he did this anyway, without the knowledge of senior aides or the royal family, he should be sacked immediately. Okay, so does it absolve the royal family if they did not know about it? Well, that will be answered in a few days, as I and a number of other people have now complained to the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, and I know I lodged a complaint at Kensington Palace and at Clarence House. Thus, if the endorsement is thus still up in, say, a week, they cannot claim ignorance anymore, and it will then be logical to assume that the royal family endorse and approves of this. Many of my subscribers have referred me to Lady C's video on the matter, and I watched it. And I'm sorry, but in this instance, the lady is wrong. She also says that it's just a casual mention. No, it is not. It is a full, in your face endorsement on the website's landing page. And if you click on it, it gives you a full article on BetterUp's work. The other issue I have with this is that it is very, very risky for the royal family and or the Queen's Commonwealth Trust to endorse this kind of business. Neither Harry nor his bosses are qualified in any way to deal with or advise on mental stress and mental health. By endorsing this kind of service or practice, they can be sued as being complicit in a malpractice or false advertising or any other issue that may arise in the future. How do you ask? Well, if my kid is convinced by the endorsement on the Queen's Commonwealth website to subscribe to BetterUp, and then he suddenly leaves his job and hangs around the house every day, causing me a great financial loss as I now have an extra mouth to feed, I won't sue BetterUp. No, I'll sue the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, or at the very least, mention them in any suit I may bring against BetterUp. In closing, I have no idea what is happening in the royal family at the moment, but something is very wrong. Regardless of the many dramas in the past, I have never before seen so many on such a regular basis and on so many different fronts. We have Andrew and his court case, we have Camilla Gate, we have cash for honours scandals, we have Harry spouting off, we have rumblings within the family, and it just goes on and on and on. And just when I think I can relax and work on research or a historical video, the next thing hits the headlines. So, why is this happening? When we look at the Queen and her reign, and we exclude everyone but her husband, there were relatively few scandals and relatively little to complain about. So, why now? Was Philip the Queen's conscience her sounding board, or are these controversies increasing as Charles is taking on more and more of the Queen's duties? You decide for yourself. I do not usually endorse I do not usually endorse anyone in the elite circles or working in the mainstream media, as we all know they have different agendas and often a paymaster somewhere. But I would like some of you to watch 60 Minutes Australia, Operation London Bridge. Will the monarchy survive after the Queen dies? I think it is a very balanced discussion, and maybe it will bring you to some kind of conclusion or of some kind of opinion. Anyway, my dear subscribers, viewers, friends, and foes, it is time to go. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye.